Howdy y'all, it's your favorite trainer with a belt buckle. Today we're going to give you a sneak peek into our internship where you can become a successful personal trainer anywhere in the world. Start by reading the book, How to Become a Successful Personal Trainer. Over 355 star reviews on Amazon. We talk about the path of the average trainer versus the trainers who are making this into a career. The average trainer gets certified, they quit within 12 months, not when you show up. Our internship in person is in San Diego and Los Angeles, 2 months. If you can't make it there, that's why we created our online internship. We have daily classes geared at our level 1 certificate, and that's who's teaching this class. Dean, the #1 trainer at Berkeley in Northern California, and he takes you through the CCA program and how you can adjust on the fly. The #1 most common response I get when people pass NASM, ACE, ISSA, we've helped over 3,000 people pass them. It's easy. It's, what do I do now? I have imposter syndrome. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how to program. How do I start? These certifications are great marketing companies, but they're not fitness companies. They don't give a shit if you know how to program. They want you to buy. We want you to be successful. And you need to understand how to program, anatomy, regressions and progressions, and that's exactly what we do in this call that we're going to let you have a sneak peek look into. So this first program that Dean is doing, we're going to put it right here. CCA, core movement pattern. We're going to take the client's goal, which is going to be to grow a big old badonkadonk. So you start with that movement pattern. We're going to do a squat, into a bench press, into a Palloff. If you're not familiar with the Palloff, it's a great exercise created by Dr. Palloff. He is a physical therapist, I believe in Massachusetts. He worked with Eric Cressy. And so we're challenging you in the internship is to post a unique variation. The most creative who tags us, you'll win $50. It's part of the great part about being part of a community. Is we will challenge you to get out of your comfort zone, post in your story. Your followers will see that. Wow, that is a creative exercise. I will reach out. All things that we talk about in my book and in the classes. You'll do that for 3 rounds. Then you're going to move into the next circuit. You're going to do a hip thrust into some chin-ups into abductions. For the accessories, that's when we encourage you to get involved as the trainer. And in class today, Dean talks about throwing his client a tennis ball. Do that for 3 rounds. And the last one, we're going to do some reverse lunges into a landmine press, into a plank. So we're hitting the lower body because that's the client's main goal, is to grow their glutes. This is what the preface of the client's already been training 4 to 5 times a week at F45 and Orange Theory. So how can you take them through a workout that is exciting and new to them, but you can get them the results? And so you wrote this out, and then it's 5 o'clock on a Monday. What happens if your environment has changed? So you need to be able to think on the fly, and a lot of trainers are going to turn into a deer in the headlights. And that's what we're prepping you for. We're putting you into scenarios that are going to be realistic out there. You could be training at an independent gym. Oh, you could be at West Hollywood Show Up Fitness, or La Jolla Show Up Fitness, or Santa Monica. We have 3 gyms. And if another trainer is on the bench press, you're not just going to sit there and say, okay, we're going to wait. Or if someone's on the back squat, you're not just going to wait. You may need to go to the second circuit or the third one, or you may need to take that exercise, the back squat, and have a variation that is a Smith machine or whatever's available to you. So hopefully you like this video today. It's about a 15-minute clip of Dean going through how you can adjust in his environment. We have these calls every Tuesday. $25 a month. You get access to this live call. We have live calls every single day. It's $100 a month. I guarantee you in 1 month of our online internship, you will learn more than any certification that's out there. Money back guarantee. And the coolest thing about Dean, he was the 2nd trainer at Equinox to put that on his bio. If you found today's class interesting, comment, shoot us an Instagram message. Chris, I would love to get into one of your classes for free. We have them weekly. Go for your level 1. That will make you qualified to know the 17 muscles of the shoulder, 20 of the lower body. Can you point them out on the body? Go through the 8 core movement patterns and design a program just like this, all within 10 minutes in front of a board. If you can do that, I guarantee you can get hired anywhere in the world. We can help you with your resume. Most importantly, stop focusing on certifications. You do not need them. You need to be qualified. Belt buckle trainer, check it out. Have a great day, y'all. Bam, bam, bam.
So we got the Vipers right over there. Right behind those, we have a set of kettlebells. Next to it, we got a little landmine attachment right there. And then we got a Smith machine right behind that. And behind that, we have a cable machine. We got the row of dumbbells that goes from 10 to 105.
Oh, nice.
Yep, and then another set of kettlebells, a little small weight tree for dumbbells, the Bulgarian support, I don't even know what to call those, 2 benches, and one of the seated benches as well. And then there's some med balls in the back as well.
Most importantly, what do we got here, Dean?
Oh, we got the eucalyptus towels.
Oh man, if you have not had any eucalyptus in your life, you are missing out. That is why I go to Equinox. And so, this is just to give you an outline of the gym as well, but we're going to pretend like you can't go in here, but that's the aerobics room, which will be open. You got some cardio equipment, some plyo boxes over there, but we're going to pretend like it is. When would you say it's the most crowded time, Dean?
5 or 6 p.m.
Okay. And this is so let's pretend like 5 or 6, this would probably be packed. You don't have access to go in there. You have a class, and let's pretend like over here, you just have a bunch of meatheads flopping around, lifting heavy shit back here. Your client's a little intimidated. You don't want to go back there. Just really do their stretching. And so it's just all packed in there. You do not have access to go in there. Or you're only going to be, and say there's 3 trainers. So you have trainer A here, trainer B, and then you're going to be trainer C. So let's talk a little bit about the program that you had designed, which would be originally a back squat, bench press into a peel-off. And I'll let you go from there.
Sounds good. So yeah, I mean, coming from here, obviously at like 5, 6 p.m., we got all the bros from UC Berkeley coming in. So they're all taken, same with the bench press. So this is usually our little zone. This is our little trainer zone right here. So obviously we can't back squat. I'm going to kind of open up the floor a little bit more. I'm going to have you guys kind of come in a little bit more. So starting off, we got the back squat in the first C1. Where do you guys want to go from there? We can't obviously back squat. How do we want to adjust from here?
Well, I mean, if we're on this side, I mean, you could back squat with the Smith machine, do a bench on the Smith machine, and then you can find somewhere else to maybe do the peel-off press, maybe a band.
Yeah, certainly one way to do it. How about else? Like any other ways we could do it as well? Like maybe even changing the variation altogether.
You do like a goblet squat, or do you have to do like a back squat?
No, we could. Yeah, that's fine. We can do a goblet squat, right? Good. So yeah, those are good adjustments right there. And so, what are the differences between like a back squat and a goblet squat that we could just kind of know?
I guess you could say a goblet squat's more in front of you, and it's almost, I can kind of consider almost like a front squat in a way, but the weight's in front of you. And the back squat, the weight is,
yeah,
in your posterior.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot more upper body engagement as well with the goblet squat. That's why I kind of like heavier goblet squats. So for like F45 and Orange Theory people too, I've noticed that, I mean, cardiac wise, like they're really good and they can really handle these circuit sets. But the one thing they don't do in Orange Theory F45 is what do you think of the pace of their classes typically is?
Like high pace.
Yeah, pretty high pace, right? So what's like a kind of cool way that we can maybe make this a little bit, so even though we don't have necessarily heavy weights, and obviously like Chris said, or F45 and Orange Theory people aren't going relatively heavy, but what are ways that we can kind of make it even more difficult for them so that we can even kind of go from there?
Are you talking about what other pieces of equipment we can use?
Yeah, so obviously we have like goblet, so we're using goblet squats, right, for the squat pattern right now. Obviously sometimes weight tends to be or upper body strength tends to be a limiting load or limiting factor on goblet squats. And obviously with F45 people, they're pretty conditioned, so they need something that's going to challenge them a little bit more, but sometimes they can't handle the weight. How could we challenge them a little bit differently with lighter weight to make it a little bit more difficulty to increase the intensity a little bit?
The Viper squat?
Let's stick with the goblet squat.
Okay.
Maybe slow down the tempo.
Yeah, there we go. Good. What kind of tempo?
Eccentric.
Yeah. How long?
5 seconds.
There we go. Yeah. For how many reps in that case? Because obviously we have 10 reps and 12 reps programmed for the first set. How would we program it if we're going to slow down the tempo?
Maybe 6.
Yeah. Lower reps for sure. Those are tend to be more intensive reps. So we certainly don't want to go too high on those. Cool. All right. Bench press. Obviously we don't have a bench press available. We talked about the Smith machine option. What are other options that we could do in this little area?
Dumbbells on the floor.
There you go. Yeah. Nice little floor press. Good. what's the benefits of doing a floor press versus a just like one on the bench?
You don't have to worry about the angle and the client tweaking the glenohumeral joint.
Yeah, so range of motion. Yeah, we're shortening the range of motion. Really good for someone with shoulder pain. I feel like this girl probably would be pretty healthy for the most part. What are other like benefits? Like, is there any like relative emphasis on a floor press versus the bench press or a dumbbell press?
Sorry, a difference between the dumbbell and a what?
The floor press and the dumbbell press.
Oh, a floor press and a dumbbell.
Stability.
Yeah, they have certainly some stability from the floor. Good. Obviously, it's a shorter range of motion. Who was speaking? Sorry.
I was just about to say range of motion.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, good. So yeah, and then it's a little bit more tricep involvement. That's all. I mean, just as long as you know that, like a little bit less chest, but it is still a horizontal push, and definitely good for someone who has shoulder pain as well, or someone who's just learning how to bench press in some sense too. Cool. And then yeah, payoffs. Obviously, just get a little creative with that. Obviously, we could like tie it. We could use the cable machine that's in the back corner. We could tie a band to the Smith machine. You can even do one without it, or like you're holding the band. That's obviously an option. Have them in different positions. That could be like on one knee, both knees, standing, even lying on the floor in like kind of a weird dead bug. You can get a little creative with those. You can also do some variations where they just hold their hands out and you push their hands a little bit more. So that's still anti-rotation. Yeah, there's certainly a lot of options. I feel like payoffs are one of those things that you can do almost anywhere. You just got to get a little creative with it. Alrighty, so let's start with the hip thrust. Obviously, we're going to stick in this little region. We got all the Berkeley girls as well. They like to hip thrust. We usually have pretty much 2 spots we can hip thrust. Let's say they're taken. We don't have any barbells to work with. How could we work with the hip thrust from here?
You could do a glute bridge.
Okay, yeah. Would we load that, or would we just keep it kind of just normal on the floor?
Well, if she's more conditioned, I'd probably load it. I mean, give her the challenge, and you could probably do like 1.5s instead of just up and down.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice little 1 1/2 reps. Good. Changing it up a little bit. How could we maybe add load in this case with this little area we got?
You can put
The Viper
dumbbells
allow for that?
Viper, yeah. Viper, I mean, not super heavy, but yeah, we could absolutely do that. Anything else?
Did you say you can use the dumbbells on their hips?
Yep, dumbbells on the hips, perfect. Cool. What's like a harder variation of a hip thrust too that maybe like if we have less load accessible to us, how could we adjust the hip thrust to make it a little bit tougher? Yeah.
Single leg?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I like the single leg. I like a B stance as well. Do you guys know what a B stance is?
No.
No, perfect. So B stance is kind of like a staggered stance. So it's like a B stance stands for bias stance. So you're biasing one leg. So if you're gonna do if you're gonna get a normal hip thrust, you just kick leg one forward like that. That's it. And so it's still on the floor. There's still support. So it takes out that balance component from the single leg hip thrust, but it also biases one leg compared to a normal hip thrust. Cool. That's kind of how we could do that. Any other ideas for hip thrust? Nope. We're all good.
Smith machine.
Yeah,
I'm having to do that at my apartment gym.
Yeah. That's a great option. Smith machine. Certainly can add a lot of load on that. Maybe use one of like these Bulgarian little thingies to get under there. Maybe grab a pad, use a bench, right? Just to add gets for the support. You could also do glute bridges under that too. Just cool little variations that you can do. You can also like put your feet up. You can grab a box, get a little bit deeper range of motion as well. So that could be fun stuff. Find other ways we can vary it up a little bit for her. Cool. Vertical pull, chin ups. Yeah, I mean, let's say the cable machine's not available at the moment. How could we adjust?
You can do chin ups on the Smith machine.
There we go. Yeah, that's one option for sure. Let's say she can't do chin ups. She's having a tough time with them, kind of hurting a little bit maybe. How could we adjust?
Aussies.
Yep. Aussies on the Smith machine. Yep, that's certainly a variation we could do. So those are 2 great options. Obviously, Chris has gone over those a little bit too. So yeah, I don't think we need to go into that much deeper. Cool, abductions with the band. I like this little walkway, kind of where the Bulgarian thing is, the white space. That's a cool walkway to do with stuff on. What are ways we can get engaged as a trainer for the abductions with the band?
Kind of like point.
Say it again.
I guess you can use your hands and gestures. It's like you point and they'll go to the left, and you point and they go to the right, or you can point for them to go back or to go forward.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
almost following your hand direction.
Right. Yeah. No, very good. Yeah, I like that a lot. So that's a fun way to do it. Just going side to side, back and forth, like you said. Staying engaged, probably staying nice and wide. So yeah, cool way to add a little bit like reactivity in a sense, and just having a little bit of fun, making it a little bit more fun for them. What are other ways we can get engaged?
Yeah, add in a Palloff press here.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, that's a little something. Yeah, I've done that before. Fun stuff. Yeah, it's definitely tough for a lot of people, so make sure they can handle that. But yeah, certainly something we can add in there. How else could we get involved?
You could pull on the band.
The abduction band. Yeah, I think that would be a little weird, just based on the position. Yeah, so probably maybe not that one. Yeah, so, but that's okay. So, yeah, maybe you could have them pause, right? You could push the knees in a little bit more, add a little bit more. I like actually adding like a tennis ball, tossing it back and forth with them. That's a little bit of fun. So yeah, stuff like that. So those are different things you can do. Cool. Any questions about the second set? Nope. All good. Chris, we're all good? Yeah, sounds like we're good. All righty, cool. Unilateral reverse lunge, landmine. There we go. There's what we have a landmine attachment. You can't really see it now, but it's right there on the left, just a little bit. Cool. And then a plank with trainer engagement. Cool. Reverse lunge. What do you guys think? Should we adjust that one?
You can do a reverse lunge on the, I would say the Smith machine if you wanted to. You can just lower it down and just have them, hold on to it if they need to. But other than that, they wouldn't have to, since they should be, more conditioned with the.
Yeah. So I think in this case, she can certainly handle a reverse lunge. Maybe wouldn't have to go down to a step up or like a split squat, just because she has been training a relative amount. So her body is ready for those. Yeah, Smith machine. So are you saying Smith machine for balance, Corey?
Yeah, you can use the Smith machine for balance, or you can use the Viper, and you can just kind of have it like bring it to your side as you come up, and it's kind of like going in front of you and kind of going to your side. Hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. Yeah, and I do that. So yeah, if she's having trouble with balance, yeah, certainly take a look at just adding a little bit of support. You can use the Viper for some support. What's up, Jason?
What about stationary lunges? Because I used to have a client that wasn't able to do lunges, and so because they're balanced and whatnot, so I had them do a stationary lunge, and that seemed to work for them.
Of course, absolutely, yeah. So in this case, like obviously with someone who does F45 Orange Theory, they're probably going to be able to do a reverse lunge for the most part. Sometimes they might have knee pain coming in, so that's where you kind of switch. So I'm a little nuanced. I just do the stationary reverse lunge. I call that a split squat. So yeah, but that's certainly a way to regress a reverse lunge to make it more manageable for them. Obviously, we're going based off the client. So for this client, I think we can go a little easier with reverse lunges, but obviously for someone who can't handle them as much, yeah, maybe we go to a split squat. Okay, they still can't handle it, they still have trouble with balance. Cool, then we add a little bit more support. What's kind of like the difference between like a lunge and like a split squat? Like this is just a cool little differentiation we can do between the two.
I know a split squat, you're going essentially straight down, and a lunge, you're stepping back with one leg. Split squat, you're just kind of staying split, and you're just going up and down, up and down.
Right. Yeah. So definitely a lot more support in a split squat. Usually about 60% in the front leg, 40% in the back leg. Reverse lunges is going to be a lot more biased towards the front leg. And that kind of last little bit towards the end is where the back leg catches you. So definitely you can produce a lot more force with the split squat just because you have a bigger base of support. Reverse lunge will challenge balance and stability a little bit more. Just be a little bit different. So 2 ways we can do it. But yeah, if someone's balance is already pretty you probably want to give them more bases of support. And that's where like a Viper or the Smith machine would come in. We can also even load that too. Like if balance really is just the limiting factor. You can even take a look at their shoes. Maybe take the shoes off. But you could also, if they just really can't balance, but they can use the Smith machine or Viper for support, go ahead and add some load as well. Totally based on them. You just gotta read the client a little bit. Cool. Any other questions there?
Yeah, I got a question. So how are you guys, I guess, about, I see everyone has their shoes on in there. Now, I know some gyms, people can, they can take their shoes off. And I'm guessing that you were talking about looking at people's shoes. Now, would you, I guess, recommend some of your people, hey, during this movement, you're allowed to take off your shoes in order to feel the floor?
Yeah. So this is what I do. We don't really enforce a rule on shoes here, but I know other gyms do. So it kind of depends on the gym. If it is a gym that does enforce shoes on, like they're very strict about it, then I'd recommend a different pair of shoes to clients, like a more stable shoe so they can train in. Just because we know running shoes are a little bit more squishy, a little bit more wobbly, and that'll always cause trouble balancing, like pretty much with anything you can do. But if you do have a gym where you can take your shoes off, I just say, hey, if you're comfortable, you can take your shoes off. It's going to help with your balance a little bit more. And so most of the time my clients do. Some of them have been no, but that's, I just say I totally give them the option to or not to. Totally up to them. Alrighty, let's get into the vertical push. Okay, cool. So we got the landmine attachment. Let's just say, again, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., all the barbells are out. All the bros are deadlifting, back squatting, bench pressing. How could we adjust our vertical push to be a little bit different and use this little area right here?
You can use the Viper. You can go in like half kneel position.
Yeah, Viper, that's certainly an option. Again, we're getting kind of more on the, yeah, it's a little different for sure. At what position would we be in there, Corey?
I was saying half kneel position.
Half kneel. Okay.
Corey, you love yourself some Viper, don't you?
I know. I was about to say, Chris, there's a lot of Vipers going on with Corey.
Well, yesterday I was using it a lot.
Okay, that's fair. So it's right on the top of your mind. That's fair. Very cool. Yeah. Okay. What are other vertical push variations we can do?
You could do a shoulder press, maybe neutral grip. You could do an Arnold press if you wanted to.
Yep. With dumbbells, kettlebells, what are we looking at, Ashley?
Well, if she's more conditioned, you could try to challenge her with a kettlebell and holding it. But if she's not comfortable with the balance, worried about hitting her head, then she could just use a dumbbell.
Yeah. Are you talking like a bottoms up press or like how would you?
Yeah, that's what it's called. I
Okay.
never remember what it's called. I'm going to write it down now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, bottoms up press. Yeah, that's definitely one way. There's also just holding it like in the rack positions. Yeah, so vertical push, there's definitely a few options. Obviously, we could just go half kneeling, single arm, right? That might have been what you're doing with the landmine, but maybe we just elevate her knee a little bit so it takes that extension out of her back. Because obviously, we know overhead position is always a little bit of trouble. So finding ways to kind of cater towards that a little bit more. Obviously, the landmine one gets it out in front. But if you actually elevate their knees too, it puts their spine in a better position to get tall. That's a pretty cool way to do it if they're in a half kneeling position. Jason, do you have a question or is that just from the last time?
From the last time. Let me lower it.
Yep, no worries. There you go. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, Arnold press, like Ashley said, that's a really good option. We could always, like, if she's really good, maybe we put her on the floor, do like a Z press. We could even have something like reciprocal. I don't know. You guys probably haven't seen this before, but you're switching it side to side at the same time. That challenges the core a little bit differently. That's kind of fun stuff. You could also just go alternating, boom, boom. You could hold it high, boom, boom. Right. There's so many different ways we could do it. So you guys can get a little creative with that. Any questions about the vertical push?
Nope.
Hey,
All good.
I've got a question actually, Dean.
Yeah, what's up, Jen?
So like the downward dog position in yoga, if you were to do a push-up in that stance, where would you envision that in like the progression or regression type spectrum?
Yeah, pike press.
Because she's moving her body weight.
Yeah, so that depends. I mean, it really like how obviously it just depends on one. It's like it's more of a body weight movement, so it's more one of those things. Is like, can she do it to start? Right. So we just got to take a look. Can she do it from like the normal downward dog position? Okay, she can. Right. Then we can elevate her feet a little bit more, and then if that's really something she wants to work towards to, we can eventually like just get her feet higher and higher. Then she's on the wall for like a handstand push up, and then if she can actually do a handstand and do a push up, like that's pretty insane. Probably not going to get a lot of those, but yeah, it's a matter of like, can she do a pike press to start? Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. So for you, putting something like that into somebody's program wouldn't be necessarily a regressed exercise. It would be something more along the progression side of things.
Probably. I don't actually remember the last time I programmed a pike press. But yeah, no, I think yeah, I mean, it's just hard for me, but no, I'd say it's more on the progress side for sure, especially if she wants to do like a handstand progression, right? That might be a little bit more relevant to her goals. And since she is controlling body weight, it's like, one, can she even do a push-up to start? Okay, she can do a push-up, and now can she do a pike push-up, right? So it's just, you got to start with the push-up first, and then work your way up into a more vertical position, since that is a little bit more challenging.
All right, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Plank with trainer engagement. Give me some examples. How could we do this?
You do like high fives with them.
Yep, there we go. Easy variation right there. What else could we do?
Like Chris said, give them a little nudge. So that they're staying stable.
Yep, good. How would we push them too? Would we kind of like pushy like this, or would we kind of like gradually push into them?
I would do a more of a gradual.
Yep, good. So just gradually seeing what they can kind of handle. The little pushy push, like there's elements of it that are cool. Like you could do a gradual push, let go, and then push again. So they kind of release and then catch. That's a cool little reactive core drill, a little bit more advanced. Just different ways you can do that. So any other examples of planks that you guys want to get into?
How about the one where both doing planks and then you're like, I guess you said high fives, right?
Yeah, Kim said high fives. Yep.
Opposite hands as you're both in the plank. Would that be considered trainer engagement?
Yes. How are you setting up?
Okay, well, you're both in the plank position. You're two. So one's east, one's west, and then you're just reaching out your hand and you're slapping their opposite hands and putting them back down to keep you stable, and then using the other hand to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely something we could do. We could also put them like in a high plank, a push-up plank, and have them do different variations. I like doing one where it's like I'll have them like close their eyes. I'll put a kettlebell somewhere. I'll tell them to open it, and they have to look. And then whichever side it's on, they have to pull it through, right, and go to the other side. And then I'll grab it and just place it around. You can do that with a bunch of other things. You can do pull-throughs with the Viper, like we talked about last time. You could do stuff with the legs, right? Have them kick up their legs, squeeze the glutes. Right, just finding different ways to get involved, right? It doesn't have to be just the upper body. You can do the lower body a little bit. Maybe you have them twist into a side plank, right?
Too.
What's
like
up, Ashley?
tap call outs, like left hand, and they have to tap their hand forward and come back.
Yeah.
Right hand or the feet.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of auditory cues, or like reactivity to auditory. I love messing with my clients like that too. Just giving them a bunch of things. I'm like, on red you do this, on blue you do this, and I'll give them green, and they're like, what do I do? I'm like, I didn't say green was a thing, it's just fun. So I really like the auditory cues, or like clapping to do something. I like to have a little bit of fun with those. So yeah. All right. Any other questions? Any other things for the planks?
I was going to say, for the plank, you can probably stick a band around them, and whichever side you're on, the right or the left side, you can be at the side of them and kind of give them like a little tug with the band.
Yeah. That's definitely another way. Instead of like pushing them actively, you actually use a band to pull them. Yeah, cool. Just different variations, different ways to do things. And you can actually get a little fun. You can like pull different ways. Maybe you can get under them, pull them down a little bit, pull them to the side, pull them to the side. Just cool little ways we can do that. So Cool. Any other variations?
You have them like
have them hold the band and have this as a version of that pay-off challenge. You could kind of do a press, just a vertical press ish. Otherwise, just have them isolation holds.
Okay, yeah, that'd be
Move around.
definitely a challenging variation, but certainly I think I kind of see what you're saying there, Colin. Yeah, but there's see, I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's like there's a ton of variations of this. You can have a lot of fun with this, and you definitely don't have to do the same variation every single time, as long as they're getting properly challenged and you're not compromising what they actually need. So yeah. All right, end off. We got the half body weight goblet squat challenge into dead hangs. I don't know if Chris's is different from the one I use. Chris, is yours different? What do you do for the half body weight goblet squat challenge?
Yeah, so if you weigh 200 pounds, 100 pounds, and you're just going to do AMRAP, as many as you can do. Try to get 25. That's what John likes to throw out there.
Yeah, okay, so that's the one I use. Yeah, that's if you guys haven't tried that, I would highly recommend doing it. It is awful. Try it out. Take half your body weight in dumbbell weight and try and get 25 plus. I think my record's like 33 only. So it's not fun. So try it out.
As a cue, are you guys going all the way down and driving your elbows into the midsection of your quad? Or how do you cue
for a goblet squat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I always premise it. I kind of start them like when I'm teaching them a squat, like squeezing their hands together, and then I'll just have them do the same thing with the dumbbells, just kind of squeezing like this.
Right, but at the bottom, are you driving your elbows into your knees or into the midsection of your quad?
No, I don't even bother with the elbow to quad contact. I've never really done that. I'm sure some coaches do, and I'm not against that. But no, I don't cue their arms into their quads at all.
Okay, so you're not even getting that deep?
No, they should be getting deep enough. It's just I just don't note that, I guess. That's not something I typically look at.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, so for the half body weight squat challenge, yeah, you have to do as many reps as you can with half your body weight, trying to get 25. That's like the golden rule to lift heavy, according to John Rosen. And the rule is that you can't rest for more than a second at the top. Like you have to do them straight. Same with the bottom. Like you just got to go up and down for as many as you can. And it sucks. Your heart rate will probably get to your max heart rate or close to it. So I'd recommend trying that just to feel that, because it is fun to do that. Cool. We good, Chris?
I wanted to add in one last little thing here. I think this was a great class, Dean. Awesome. Love it. So let's pretend a couple things. One, that it's even more crowded than you anticipated. And so all you have is that program that we have up here and access to the Smith machine. And so we're going to, now remember, you can interchange these. So you could do C3 first, you could do C2 first. It's a multi-jointed exercise that we're beginning with force production first based on your client's goals. She wants to grow her glutes. I don't think it would be very effective to start out with a bench press first, because you got to think of it. If you're going in there and you specifically tell someone, I want to grow my glutes, I want to be focusing on my glutes. So I'll do, Smith machine back squat there. You can do a bridge press on the ground right next to this. And then you do your pay-off variation for 3 rounds. We're not moving outside of that Smith machine. And then we're going to get into a hip thrust using the Smith machine. And then instead of doing a vertical pull, I will do a horizontal pull. It's fine. Back and bis, same muscle group. And we're just going to do some split stance rows. And then we're going to do some abductions. I like the suggestions that you guys had in there in the middle walkway. So we're making sure no one takes our piece of equipment. And then that last round, we're going to do some reverse lunges on the Smith machine. We can't use the landmine, so we're going to do some Arnold presses and then plank variations there. And then it's important that at the end of this, you get some feedback from your client. So you say, okay, what's your name going to be, Dean?
Go Trisha.
Trisha. So Trish, how's the workout? Your glutes feeling pretty good. You got a little left in the tank. Now, if she's like, no, I've never felt it my glutes like this before, I'm toast, then maybe we go over to the table and you do some stretching. I know that Equinox likes you to do or a lot of the spots they'll bring you over here and trainers will do some stretching over here. Do you do much stretching, Dean? How do you feel about that?
I personally don't. There are a couple trainers who do, but for the most part, no, I don't.
Okay. And as always, it depends on what your client wants. So maybe what I would do at the end, if she does have some time left, I'll bring her over right over here and I'll pick up some dumbbells and we're going to do a little finisher. And so I'm going to go through a finisher that I'm going to do, and then Dean's going to tell you a finisher that he's going to do. And so I'm going to do, grab some 10-pound dumbbells because I can tell she's used to these classes, Orange Theory, F45. I know she's comparing this session to that session. Even though I understand that sweating and soreness and how hard the workout is doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get amazing results, but that's what our society pushes. Guarantee she's been to an Orange Theory class and they've bragged about her burning 1,000 calories, which doesn't mean shit, but she keeps that in her head. And so if she has a little left in the tank and she's not about to pass out, and if she is about to pass out, I'll give her a glucose tablet. She'll be good to go. And I'll bring her over here and maybe we do 5 jumps as high as she can. And she picks up some dumbbells and she does 5 presses. And then she does 5 bent over rows, comes down 5 push-ups, and then she gets into a push-up position. And then I'm going to walk somewhere in the gym. So if she was doing them here, I'm going to walk over here. And when I clap loud, she has to hop up, run over to me, give me a high 10, and she runs back and gets into the plank position. And then that's her active rest. I love screwing with people and saying, all right, so we're going to rest now, do a plank. What do you mean? That's work. Or we're going to rest right now. We're going to do a wall sit. Maybe you can, it looks like you could probably do a wall sit on here. Dean, what do you think?
Yeah.
Is that safe?
Yeah.
So she's doing her wall sit. And then when I say your favorite food, what is it? She says pizza. All right. When we say pizza, we're starting over. And pizza goes back to 5 jumps. And then she does her 5 military presses, bent over rows for 5. And then we're doing push-ups, plank position. And now I'm going to say, all right, so we're going to come over here and we're going to hold an isometric reverse hyper. And she puts her hands out. And so then I'm tapping her hams around. And so, we're getting glute engagement, erector engagement, quadratus lumborum engagement. It's all safe and effective. It's definitely more challenging than she's used to. This is why they call it like a Metcon, or I'm just essentially kind of smoking her the last couple minutes. And when she really feels it in there, great, we're pausing. And maybe we do that for 3 rounds. Maybe we do it for 4 rounds. It depends on the time and it depends on how well she's doing. I want her to be, when she's done with it, pretty like, whoa, I got a little of the class feel at the end, but it was only 5 minutes. As Dean was talking about in the beginning, typically you'll find these clients are really good with cardio conditioning. And so we want to focus more on the heavy load in the beginning, the thrusting, the squatting, and unilateral. We're not compromising force production. And I think that's the last little thing to nail in before Dean does his. You will go to seminars. You will learn new pieces of equipment. We were making fun of Corey earlier. There's nothing wrong with having that in your tool chest, but don't become a tool, meaning that now the next time they come to you, it's a whole Viper workout or all Bosu ball workout or all this workout, because you're compromising force production. It's good to continue your knowledge and your education. Take little pieces, put them in the accessory, have fun, make sure it doesn't compromise the main lift. And don't get so crazy where you go from 0 to 100. So client comes in and you find out she's done military presses. Great, we're going to do a single arm V press for 50 reps with your eyes closed. Well, that's a really progressed exercise. You can just slow down the tempo and we can do small little adjustments. So Dean, what would you do for your finisher?
Usually I keep them pretty simple. So for mine, we could do 2 things. I've been liking glute bridge marches lately. And so just having a little fun, like cueing it, like giving them a little clap, right? Or give them some kind of audio cue. For that's when they switch. So they'll hold it. Let's say I clap, switch, then they'll hold the next leg. And then we can even go hop up, maybe do some curtsy lunges, right? Getting a good stretch on the glutes, not loaded. It's not a 1 RM kind of lift. So we can go straight into those. Do it alternating both legs, and then we can just head into that hyperextension, just kind of holding it a little bit. Maybe again, same thing, adding some kind of auditory cue or touch cue, where she holds it. I touch her, then she goes down, comes back up, squeezes, holds, doing something like that. So that's where my finisher usually comes in, is where her main goal. That's my finisher. That's where I'll approach that. So I'll hit everything we need to, and the finisher will be the main goal.
Love it. That's awesome. And I always like to do a little psychological stuff at the end there. I'm going to be like, so Trisha, how'd you like that workout? Compare me to F45, Orange Theory. Did they know your name? Did they do a little personalized finisher like you like this? Did they, I'm going to just let her know that you not only are getting a great workout, but we're timesing it by 10. And I'm going to coach her throughout the session, reiterating what she told me, what her goals are. And this is how she's going to get there. And then I like to assume the sale. Great. When do you want to come in again? Tomorrow. Awesome. I'm going to suggest 24 sessions. It's going to cost this. Do you want us to charge your account, or do you want to pay me on the table in cash? I'm just joking. Am I? No, but then you'll be able to get that client signed up, and then you can help more people. So these are awesome classes. I really appreciate Dean taking the time to help you all with this. These are to get you thinking creatively, but don't let that creativity compromise force production. So any questions for Dean while you have him here for a couple more minutes? Going once.
So something that wouldn't have trainer engagement or an auditory cue, but something that I might do towards the end of a workout, if I had the option. I love the stair stepper for some reason. Would that be totally crazy just as a Metcon finisher?
Yeah, I mean, just no, just vary how you do it, right? You obviously wouldn't want them to just walk on it for 5 minutes. Like maybe you do something where they speed it up for a little bit and then they slow it down, and they really focus on like pushing hard, right? So you just changing like the tempo and how you would vary it throughout like the 5 minutes or whatever.
Like Colin, you got some little steppers over here. Maybe you play around with the tempos. Nothing wrong with that, but you got to think of, if we bring our clients to a ton of machines, they're going to start thinking like, well, I can just do this by myself. Maybe what I'll do is I'll work with you once a week and I'll do the stair stepper once a week instead of the other session. And obviously there's nothing wrong with the stair stepper, but I think we could be creative, have a nice plyo box, whatever, get a little more value. The stair steppers are I think they're like 6 inches. They're not that big. So I think there's a lot of other variations where we could get more bang for our buck.
Yeah, I was thinking as a variation of that, just have